Hello, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I've done an upload, and in this video I'm hoping to address why that may be. If I name... I don't know what I'm going to name the title for this video yet, but I imagine you might be able to guess where we're going to go in this video from the title. So if this is not the sort of thing you are in a place to listen to or want to hear about from someone else's perspective, that's absolutely fine. I have no problems with you ignoring this video as if it doesn't exist. Really, this is just an outlet for me to not only document my feelings for future reference for myself, but to also hopefully bring to light the position that a lot of people have been in the last few months, and particularly using my own situation to highlight that. I'm not saying that everybody has been through what I've been through in the last few months, or that they're even connected to the current pandemic going on, because really they're not. It just happens to have taken place at the same time, and no doubt the issue with being isolated for a very long time for a lot of people and not going out to work, not meeting people, not interacting with their community has no doubt left some feeling rather sore, emotionally speaking. So we'll set that aside. Three months ago, 3 or 4 months ago now, I attempted to commit suicide. Now, when you initially say that, a lot of people are going to have different opinions on whether that would be the appropriate course of action, and really I think it's a very individual thing. We've all got very individual ways of looking at life and looking at our reality around us, and it's all going to have been formed by our experiences growing up and our experiences in the current, climate around us and the world and what have you. For me, I had been experiencing a lot of anxiety, stress. For those who are unaware, I work currently I work for the local council in a team that assesses, supports, or tries to support various people with mental health difficulties and physical and learning difficulties as well as those on the autism spectrum, which I am myself, but that's kind of neither here nor there. Up until recently, I would have said that my way of dealing with my own problems was by helping other people. While I may not always appear to be so on the outside, especially people who know me in person will probably argue with me about this. I'm a very selfless person and very empathetic towards other people's problems. This has also led to my change in political views over the years, although those have remained relatively stable. I try not to talk about political things on YouTube, and that's not what we're trying to go into. I'm just trying to set a background for the way my mind and me as a person thinks and works and looks at the world around me. As I said, we're all different in that regard. If you asked me why I tried to do what I tried to do, now I wouldn't be able to give you a solid answer. The only thing I can say is that in the moment, there doesn't feel like there's any other options. It feels like that you have no other option. This is it. And this is why I say that people's opinions are going to vary on this drastically across the board, depending on their own experiences and how they were brought up and what they were taught was right and wrong. Some people might say that attempting or succeeding in committing suicide is incredibly selfish to the people around you, and certainly some people in my family seem to share that same opinion. People think that you should talk about your problems and that you shouldn't let it dig into you. And the problem I had was that I had tried to internalise these feelings for so long that eventually it blew up. Not the first time it's happened, but this is the first time it's ever gone that far. I tried to talk to my mum particularly about the way I was feeling, and I said, look at the things going on around us, and look at, it doesn't matter how hard we try as a family, my mum, my brother and myself, doesn't matter how hard we try, doesn't matter how hard we work, reality seems to be consistently screwing us over. We're not getting anywhere. We're struggling financially, emotionally. And my mum's response to this was to just say, that's life. It's shit, get used to it. Now, because of the way my mind works, I would not take, and I still refuse to take that as an answer. The world in the way it is today, it did not start out like this. This is not the way the world was at the very beginning. The world as it is today was made like it, you know, the system is not broken, it is designed that way. And for whatever reason, I feel as though I, you know, should stand against that. There should be something done about it. But again, these are just my feelings. So I didn't see the point in working. I didn't see the point in going out and seeing friends. I didn't see the point in eating. I didn't see the point in being active in any real way, because the way I looked at it was, it didn't matter how hard I tried, the world was going to continue to fuck me over. And I suppose to an extent I still am of that opinion. I'm not, regardless of what anybody else says, particularly fond of the way I look. Even though, you know, they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but looking at yourself in a mirror, you are the beholder. You are the person who judges yourself. And regardless of, you know, that not caring about what other people thinks, for me at least, worked both ways. So it didn't matter whether somebody said I was the most attractive person they'd ever seen, or that I was the most horrific looking person they'd ever seen. I would still disagree with them regardless. You know, like, I don't really care about your opinion, I don't like the way I look, that's all there is to it. And it was very black and white in that regard for me anyway. I've tried to wrap my head around the position I'm in at the moment. I have been signed off work since the first initial suicide attempt. I've been hoping to get a psychiatric assessment, although I'm still arguing with the doctors and the mental health professionals about this. I do not want to go back to work. I want to move on with my life, and I want to separate the things that have happened from the future. You know, if I was to go back to work and to go back to working with the people who, for the last nearly 2 years, or it will be 2 years as of September, have supported me, helped me grow as a person, made me more confident. You know, I feel like I owe them greatly for that. And yet at the same time, I came to the realisation that I needed to think about myself for once, and to do something that made me happy. And while my job did make me very happy at the very beginning, once I finished my apprenticeship and was required to go out on my own, there were so many things in my job, the micromanaging side of things, like booking out a vehicle, making sure the vehicle had fuel in it, knowing where I had to go, knowing when I had to leave, knowing how long it would take to get there, predicting traffic at certain times of the day, and so on and so on and so on. A lot of these things most people may not struggle with, but for me, I found that to be incredibly difficult to navigate, to the point that I would be kept awake at night by worrying, have I booked out a vehicle for tomorrow? Have I made sure that it has enough fuel to get where I need to go to? Do I have all the documents ready to go to meet this new person who I've never met before, who may, for all I know, completely resist me being there in the first place, and then cause in strife, complications, whatever you want to call it. And it was the overthinking and over worrying that essentially made my mental health just collapse in on itself. Or at least I think that's why. All of this is just the tip of the iceberg. There is also the fact that initially, not long after I'd had my first suicide attempt, one of our extended friends started coming over every day after she'd finished work to visit me. Presumably, I thought at the time to check up on me and make sure I was well, and just not doing anything I shouldn't be doing, or not thinking anything I shouldn't be doing. This carried on for a couple of weeks, and then the whole epidemic started. And because her brother has a very low immune deficiency, she wanted to stay at ours for 3 months, 12 weeks, to keep her brother as safe as possible, because at the time she was still having to go out and go to work, interact with other people, and then coming home to her brother. The issue with this was that when I was asked about this, my brother chose to ask me with her present, and I felt like I couldn't. Again, I was thinking about her benefit and her brother's benefit. I wasn't thinking about myself. Even though I felt as though it would make me uncomfortable in my own home having somebody I didn't really know that well living with me for that length of time, I agreed because, one, I didn't feel like I could say no, it was for her brother's benefit, and two, because of her being there, I didn't feel like I could be honest. That was the parameters in which I made that decision. Now, where things got a little bit more complicated was my brother and her approached me about a week or so later and asked if they had any problems with them being in a relationship together. For context, I had admitted to my brother during the last few weeks and seeing her fairly regularly that I thought I had feelings towards her. I liked who she was as a person. She seemed to care a lot about other people other than herself, which for me is a pretty big thing, because I know how that feels. I can relate to that. Anyway, they asked if I minded them being in a relationship. They thought they'd ask because they knew I had feelings for her as well. And again, it was a similar situation. I didn't feel like I could say no. So I said yes. I don't have any problems. I said no, I don't have any problems with that, even though I did. And so then started the being not sexually intimate, but being quite personal in front of me, between one another, showing signs of physical affection in one way or another. And in my head it felt like I was having it rubbed in my face, which made me feel even worse. I did eventually get all of this out in the open and explain to them that I didn't really want her staying here in the first place, and I wasn't happy with them going out. But I realised soon after I'd said that I had no problems with all this stuff, that telling the truth would have only caused more conflict between all of us and made things more complicated, because I knew that she couldn't just go home because of her brother. So I stayed quiet. I didn't say anything, at least not for a while. When all of this did eventually come out in the open, she insisted that I should be honest with her regardless of whether it would hurt her feelings or mine or anybody else's. And yet, even though I listened and I agreed with what she said and said, yeah, that's fine, I'll be more open in the future, it doesn't mean I have been. It doesn't mean I feel like I can be, because I still feel like I can't be, So, I've had a lot on my plate for the last couple of months, and it is starting to get better, slowly. She's moved out now, although that has had its own downsides. My brother is now barely at home, and when he is, he's always talking to her over the phone, or he's always doing something else. And a lot of my friends I've met through my brother, or have always been in contact with through my brother. You know, whenever he's gone and met them, I've gone with him. So a lot of my social circle is connected to him as well. And, you know, it's kind of hard to explain, but I don't feel like I can go out and meet them on my own without him being there, even though that sounds probably ridiculous to a lot of you listening to this. So I haven't been, like I said, I haven't been going out, I haven't been doing a lot, I've been signed off work. And as of late, I have begun to feel a little bit better. I've started doing yoga and exercises in the morning. Not that it's improving how I feel about myself, although it is making me feel a little bit better. I've tried looking at other jobs that I might want to do, but as is fairly common amongst a lot of young people, a lot of any aged people really, a lot of people don't know what they want to do in life. I could quite easily list off a lot of things I wouldn't want to do, but that doesn't help me find something that I do want to do. And the part that scares me about that is that I don't want to make the mistake I did last time, where I go into a job, I enjoy it, I do, you know, but I start putting my priorities in the wrong place again. I start prioritising other people and my work over the way I feel and what I want to do, and what I class as being a successful life, a happy life. A life where I don't wake up every morning and hate the fact that I have to get out and go to work. A life where I don't have to worry about things that I shouldn't be worrying about when I'm at home, out with friends. Another side effect of all of this was that even though I would go out in the company of friends to make myself feel better, I still didn't feel as though I could be open to them about it or to discuss it around them, let alone to them. As I said, I think I am beginning to feel better, slowly, but it's not a sudden process. I actually did, for a very short amount of time, go back to work. My sick note ran out, and because of red tape, the doctors said that they couldn't sign me off again, even though I'd explicitly told them that I wasn't ready to go back and I wasn't in the right mental state to deal with everything that I would be expected to do if I went back to work. At the time, this was over a month and a half ago now, so we were still in lockdown, so we were still working from home, or the rest of the staff were all working from home on their laptops and doing Skype meetings and such. And I got complaints from the manager because while I was in the meetings, I wasn't interacting. Again, when we eventually come around to discussing this with my manager, I said that I told the doctors straight that I wasn't ready to go back, and they didn't listen to me. They refused to sign me off again, and said because this has happened, we are not allowed to sign you off again, we have to send you back. And it's a similar situation I'm in now, where, as I said, I'm not prepared to go back. I don't think it's the right thing for me, and I want to focus on myself and benefiting myself and making myself feel better. But I know that there is a chance I may have to go back, and I also know that I won't be myself. Not for a while. And it's the concern that a lot of people who I work with are going to be thinking, you know, he's back, it means he's better. But it's not like a broken leg, or a cold, or a flu. There isn't just a moment where your antibodies fight off the virus or the infection and you're better again. Mental health just doesn't work like that. And I know that they know this, because they work with people with mental health problems, and yet they seem to be incapable of realising this when it's involving a member of their own staff. I don't know what lies ahead of me in the months to come. I don't know whether my life is going to be woe and wonder, or whether it's going to be crippling depression and anxiety again. I don't know where I'm going to go, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know who I'm going to be talking to. I don't know if my friendship group's going to change, although I hope not. I know that there are people in life who say that they're there for you and that they support you, and by all means, if you're one of those people, keep doing what you're doing, because chances are eventually somebody will open up to you if they're comfortable. But don't expect that to happen. Don't put pressure on people and blame them for their own mental health problems when they can't feel like they can open up to you. It might not have anything to do with you. Most of the problems I have got nothing really to do with other people. It's all me. The way I view my life, the way I view the world around me, as I discussed at the beginning of this video. So if you know somebody who's going through hard times, especially men, because in the 21st century, even though we think that the 1950s era breadwinner sort of persona that we're supposed to fulfill has long since died, in our heads it's still alive. There are a lot of men in the world who feel like they should be the ones responsible for the upkeep of their home, the upkeep of their family, if they, if they have any kids or a girlfriend or a wife. They feel like they're responsible for supporting those people, and it's presumably, although I can't speak from experience, the same with same-sex relationships as well, to a certain degree. I don't want pity from this video. I don't want, people accusing me of using this as an excuse to get views or get comments or likes or dislikes. As I said, I wanted to use this as an opportunity to actually talk about the way I feel openly in front of a camera where it's easier to do so. You don't have to do it face to face. If anybody, or if any of you see this and want to write a comment or anything like that, that's absolutely fine. I just hope that this may shed some light. If you know somebody in your immediate family or friendship group who is struggling with who they are as a person, struggling with the world around them, struggling with debt or family problems or virtually anything else that may be wearing down on their mental health, just use my experience as evidence that people will not always want to talk to you, but offering your support is never a bad thing. It's never a waste of energy, it's never a waste of time. So for those of you out there who are trying to support one another and being good human beings as a result, keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing the most valiant work you possibly can. You're supporting your fellow human beings who may be worse off than you, be that in a monetary sense or in a mental health sense. You're supporting the people around you, and there is nothing more soul fulfilling than that. Just don't forget to look after yourself too. Thank you.